Some gemstones don't just sparkle, they warn. There are minerals that crumble into toxic dust, stones that shift their chemistry when exposed to light, crystals that absorb water and change their entire identity, and metallic specimens that can release dangerous compounds the instant they fracture. These aren't myths or exaggerations. They're real minerals locked behind glass in museums, handled with gloves, monitored for safety, and respected by experts who understand exactly what can go wrong. And the gemstone ranked number 1? It looks harmless, quiet, almost ordinary, until a single break turns it into something far more dangerous than its metallic shine suggests. If even one of these stones is already in your home, or if you've ever considered collecting them, watch carefully. Let's begin. Ranked 10th, CROCOITE, the fiery crystal that should never be taken lightly. CROCOITE is often described as a mineral that looks too vivid, too intense, almost too alive to be real. Its bright orange-red needles stand upright like frozen sparks, thin, fragile, electrifying. In display cases, it appears as if a firework has been paused at the height of its explosion, capturing a split second of brilliance that should have vanished into the air. But behind this beauty lies one of the most misunderstood risks in the mineral world. CROCOITE is composed of lead chromate, a compound that links two elements experts treat with caution: lead and chromium in their oxidized form. Not dangerous because it burns or reacts, but dangerous because of how easily it falls apart. Each crystal is extremely brittle. A single bump, a small vibration on a shelf, or even a careless breath of air can send tiny orange fragments drifting away. These microshards, invisible to the eye, carry the same chemical composition as the parent crystal. And inhaling dust containing lead chromate is something no collector, museum worker, or geologist would ever allow. This is why CROCOITE is rarely displayed openly. Museums often keep it inside sealed glass cases with controlled airflow and minimal movement. Collectors who own high-grade specimens store them in padded boxes, sometimes opening them only once or twice a year. A magnificent cluster can collapse from a single wrong touch, yet CROCOITE's allure is undeniable. The most famous specimens from Tasmania and Russia form dense jungles of bright needles, so vibrant that visitors often assume they are man-made. These pieces are legends in the collecting community, visually breathtaking, scientifically fascinating, and structurally unstable. That instability is the real danger. Once a crystal breaks, not only is the specimen permanently damaged, the resulting particles are hazardous if they linger in the air or fall onto surfaces. Lead chromate is not a gemstone material meant for everyday handling, jewelry use, or casual display. And because CROCOITE sheds so easily, most experts recommend keeping it away from bedrooms, kitchens, and areas where pets or children could come near. CROCOITE represents a paradox, a mineral so captivating that people instinctively want to get closer, and yet so delicate, so chemically concerning, that experts advise doing the opposite. Does CROCOITE look naturally dangerous to you, or does it surprise you? Comment dangerous or surprising. A stone that glows like fire, and must be admired like fire, at a distance with caution and with full respect for what lies beneath the surface. Ranked 9th. STIBNITE, the metallic crystal that breaks into poisonous dust. Few minerals create an immediate sense of danger the way STIBNITE does. Its long metallic blades reflect light like polished steel, sharp, cold, and unnervingly perfect. While many minerals appear organic or earthy, STIBNITE looks engineered, as if it were designed in a factory rather than grown deep underground. This haunting beauty is what first draws collectors in, but the structure of STIBNITE is also the reason experts warn that it must be handled with absolute caution. STIBNITE is composed of antimony sulfide, a compound historically associated with pigments, alloys, traditional medicines, and, in extreme cases, toxic exposure. The crystal itself is stable when left untouched, but the danger begins the moment it is stressed. The blades are extraordinarily brittle. Even a light bump can cause them to snap, sending microscopic particles into the air. These particles contain antimony compounds that should never be inhaled or allowed to settle in living spaces. This is why museum curators treat stibnite with the same protective protocols used for fragile, hazardous artifacts. Limited movement, sealed display cases, padded mounts, and zero unnecessary contact. High-quality stibnite clusters, especially from Japan's famed Ichinokawa deposit, are considered masterpieces of natural geometry. Dozens of metallic spears often radiate outward in all directions, like a burst of frozen lightning. Collectors prize these specimens, not only for their rarity, but for the surreal, futuristic appearance that no other mineral replicates. But every one of these elegant formations carries the same hidden risk. One broken blade can release dust that stays suspended longer than expected. And because the mineral fractures so easily, the typical accidents of mineral collecting, moving a shelf, shifting a display, adjusting a light, can be enough to trigger a collapse. Stibnite also has an unusually sharp visual deception. Its metallic surface makes it look strong, solid, industrial, unbreakable. Yet the truth is the opposite. The crystal is as fragile as thin ice on a winter pond. Beautiful, reflective, mesmerizing, but structurally unstable at every level. For this reason, mineralogists emphasize strict guidelines. Stibnite should not be displayed openly where it might fall, vibrate, or be touched. It should never be handled near children or pets, and it should not be cleaned with brushes, cloths, or any method that risks creating airborne particles. Stibnite is more than a mineral. It is a reminder that nature's elegance often comes with a price, and that some of Earth's most captivating structures demand not just admiration, but respect. Stibnite is stunning, but dangerously fragile. Would you ever keep a mineral like this in your home? Comment yes or no. Ranked 8th, galena. The silver-looking stone that hides a heavy warning. Galena has a way of deceiving the eye from the very first moment. Its metallic surface shines like molten silver cooled into clean geometric cubes. Its edges are sharp, its faces mirror bright, and its structure so precise that many first-time viewers assume it has been carved by human hands. But galena is not just another metallic mineral. It is lead sulfide, one of the most significant natural sources of lead on Earth. A fact that transforms this beautiful, reflective crystal into a material that requires careful understanding and controlled handling. The danger of galena does not come from simply touching a polished cube. The real risk emerges when the mineral begins to break down, crumble, or shed powder. Even small amounts of lead-containing dust can become hazardous if inhaled or allowed to remain on surfaces where it may later come into contact with the mouth or skin. Experts often point out that galena is one of the oldest minerals known to humans. It was used in ancient cosmetics, pigments, and early metallurgy. But with time, as knowledge increased, so did the realization of its risks, especially the risks associated with airborne lead. Despite this, galena remains a favorite among mineral collectors. Its cubic crystals from Missouri, its octahedral forms from Romania, and its shiny metallic clusters from the UK are some of the most iconic specimens in the mineral world. Few minerals combine symmetry and reflectivity the way galena does, and it is exactly this beauty that often misleads beginners. Galena looks strong, like solid metal, yet it is actually soft, brittle, and easily fractured. The moment it crumbles, the possibility of lead dust becomes a concern. Museum curators typically keep galena behind glass, not because it is radioactive or corrosive, but because a shaken shelf, a minor impact, or a deteriorating edge can release a dust that must not be inhaled. Collectors are advised to wash their hands after handling it and to avoid grinding, cutting, polishing, or storing it in places where children or pets can reach. Galena is a reminder that not all dangers are dramatic. Some are quiet, subtle, hidden beneath a mirror-bright surface. It is a mineral that teaches caution not through aggressive appearance, but through chemical truth. Galena often surprises viewers because it looks like solid silver. Have you ever seen galena in person before watching this video? Comment seen or never. Galena stands as one of the mineral world's most striking illusions, a gorgeous metallic crystal that shines like treasure, while holding within it a warning forged over centuries of human history. Ranked 7th, REALGAR. the beautiful red crystal that turns into something far more dangerous. REALGAR is one of those minerals that seems to hypnotize anyone who sees it. Its color glows with a red-orange intensity that looks almost molten, as if a drop of volcanic fire had cooled just enough to become solid. Collectors often describe REALGAR as gem-like because its transparency and color saturation are unusually vivid for a mineral containing arsenic. But REALGAR's beauty hides a transformation that very few minerals possess. A transformation that makes it one of the most unpredictable stones in the dangerous gem category. REALGAR is composed of arsenic sulfide. In its fresh, untouched form, it appears stable and almost glassy. But when exposed to light, REALGAR begins a slow, irreversible process. Its crystal structure breaks down and turns into para-REALGAR, a yellow, powdery substance that contains arsenic in a far more problematic form. This means REALGAR doesn't just fracture like brittle minerals, it changes chemically over time. A beautiful red cluster left under strong light for months can partially collapse into yellow dust that must not be inhaled or allowed to linger in display environments. This unusual light-driven transformation has fascinated mineralogists for decades. It is one of the few minerals whose danger increases simply by being displayed incorrectly. Sunlight, LED lights, even long hours under museum lamps can slowly degrade it. Because of this, REALGAR is usually kept in closed drawers, dark cabinets, or specialized display cases with filtered lighting. Museum staff handle it gently, avoiding pressure or friction that could create loose powder. Collectors who own it learn quickly that the best way to preserve REALGAR's beauty is to protect it from the very thing that makes most minerals shine: light. Historically, REALGAR held an important place in ancient cultures. It was used in pigments, medicines, and ceremonial compounds. But many of the artisans who worked with it faced health issues long before the connection was understood. Today, REALGAR's historical uses serve as a reminder that knowledge evolves, and danger is often recognized only in hindsight. REALGAR is not aggressive. It does not burn skin or emit fumes. Its danger is quieter. A slow conversion, a subtle powder, an invisible risk that emerges only when the mineral is mishandled or exposed to the wrong conditions. Yet despite this, REALGAR remains one of the most visually stunning arsenic minerals in the world. Its fiery color and glass-like luster make it unforgettable. But it demands something many collectors struggle with: patience, protection, and controlled conditions. REALGAR is a masterclass in geological irony. A mineral born from heat and pressure, but vulnerable to something as gentle as light. REALGAR slowly transforms when exposed to light. Do you think this mineral should be ranked higher on the dangerous gem list, or is its position accurate? Comment higher or good. Ranked 6th, CINNABAR, the red stone that carried power and poison. CINNABAR has a presence that demands attention. Its deep, lacquer red shine resembles polished enamel or liquid mercury transformed into stone. Few minerals possess a color so intense, so commanding, so symbolic of both beauty and danger at the same time. Throughout history, CINNABAR has held a place in human culture unlike any other mineral. It was crushed into pigment for ancient Chinese lacquerware, used in Roman murals, and even worn as ceremonial jewelry by early civilizations. But the same quality that gave CINNABAR its legendary red, the presence of mercury sulfide, is the very reason experts approach it with caution today. Solid CINNABAR, when intact, is relatively stable. The true risks emerge when the mineral is ground, fractured, or exposed to friction that produces powder. Even trace amounts of mercury-containing dust are enough for mineralogists to issue strict handling guidelines. This is why ancient artisans who worked with CINNABAR often suffered illnesses that were mysteries at the time but are understood clearly today. In modern collections, CINNABAR appears in a variety of forms: bright red crystals embedded in white quartz, massive opaque chunks with a waxy sheen, or rare glassy specimens that almost resemble red obsidian. Each form captures light in a slightly different way, producing a visual richness unmatched by most red minerals. But beneath that beauty lies an unspoken rule. CINNABAR must never be filed, polished, or shaped. Even gentle rubbing can produce dust that should not be inhaled or ingested. Collectors store it in closed display cases, often on soft padding to prevent abrasion. Museums restrict direct access to ensure no accidental powder is released by vibration or contact. Cinnabar's danger is subtle, quiet, and easily overlooked, especially because the mineral looks so stable and solid. Its deep crimson color suggests strength, longevity, and permanence. Yet its history tells a different story. Artists, miners, and craftsmen suffered mercury-related illnesses long before science understood the cause. This is why gemologists emphasize awareness rather than fear. Cinnabar is safe when respected, stable when left untouched, and undeniably one of the most visually striking minerals on Earth. But it is not a stone for casual collectors, nor one to place on open shelves where children, pets, or unsuspecting guests might touch it. Cinnabar carries a legacy, one filled with beauty, artistry, and caution. A mineral that has shaped human culture for thousands of years, while whispering a warning that only modern science could finally decode. Cinnabar's history is both beautiful and dangerous. On a scale from 1 to 10, how shocking is this stone to you? Just comment a number. Ranked 5th, ORPIMENT. The golden mineral once treated like treasure, until science learned the truth. ORPIMENT is one of the mineral world's greatest visual deceptions. With its glowing golden yellow color, it looks like something that belongs in a pharaoh's crown or an emperor's ceremonial mask. Its surface catches light like crushed sunlight, and in its finest form, ORPIMENT appears almost liquid, rich, warm, and impossibly bright. But beneath this radiant beauty lies a substance that ancient civilizations revered and later feared. ORPIMENT is composed of arsenic sulfide, one of the most historically significant arsenic minerals on the planet. In the past, it was ground into pigment, used in art, medicine, and even religious rituals. Its golden color symbolized power, purity, and divine energy. The danger, however, comes from two properties that make ORPIMENT uniquely hazardous: its chemical makeup and its fragility. ORPIMENT is extremely soft. Even gentle pressure can cause it to crumble. When it breaks, it doesn't fracture into clean pieces. It releases a powder that contains arsenic compounds capable of causing serious harm if inhaled or ingested. This powdering effect is so well known that scientists classify ORPIMENT as a mineral that should never be touched without gloves, never displayed where vibration may occur, and never stored in open-air containers. Museums keep it in sealed cases with minimal airflow, not because the mineral is inherently aggressive, but because its dust can linger on surfaces long after the specimen is gone. ORPIMENT also reacts poorly to heat and light. Prolonged exposure can cause it to degrade, releasing even more loose particles. This instability makes it one of the least suitable minerals for open display, despite its stunning appearance. What makes ORPIMENT especially haunting is the long history behind it. For centuries, artisans and craftsmen worked with this mineral unaware of the risks. Many suffered mysterious illnesses, not knowing that the beautiful golden pigment they used was slowly poisoning them. Today, modern science has finally given clarity to what ancient cultures could not explain. Still, ORPIMENT remains an extraordinary mineral, one that combines beauty, chemistry, and history in a way few minerals can match. It captivates anyone who sees it, but demands strict respect from anyone who handles it. Collectors value ORPIMENT as a study piece, not a display piece. It is admired for its color, its rarity, and the complexity of its story. A mineral that glows like gold but carries a warning older than written history. ORPIMENT looks like gold, but behaves like one of the most fragile minerals on Earth. Would you feel safe keeping ORPIMENT in your home? Comment safe or no way. Ranked 4th, Ethiopian opal. The gem that changes its identity when touched by water. Ethiopian opal stands apart from almost every other gemstone on Earth. Its colors flash like trapped lightning. Neon greens, deep blues, electric reds, all swirling beneath a translucent surface that looks as if it were carved from living light. In terms of beauty, few stones can rival it. But behind that breathtaking display hides a characteristic that makes experts treat this opal with a level of caution rarely required in the gem world. Ethiopian opal belongs to a class of materials known as hydrophane opals. gemstones that absorb water. Not a few droplets, not a light mist. These opals can act like sponges, pulling moisture deep into their structure and changing their appearance dramatically. A brilliant, fire-filled opal can turn milky, cloudy, or nearly transparent after only a short soak. For some collectors, the first time witnessing this transformation is shocking. The stone seems to lose its soul, its fire dimming as water fills microscopic pores inside the gem. This absorption also causes subtle swelling. While often invisible to the eye, it can affect how securely a stone fits in jewelry. Prongs loosen, tension settings shift, and in severe cases, internal stress may form. When the opal dries, the process reverses, slowly, unpredictably, and not always perfectly. This instability is why experts often hesitate to recommend Ethiopian opal for everyday wear. Not because the stone lacks beauty, but because its beauty is condition dependent. Exposure to water, humidity, or sudden environmental changes can temporarily alter its color, clarity, or structure. Museum curators and gemologists take precautions. Minimal humidity exposure, sealed display environments, zero contact with water, perfumes, or skin oils, careful handling to avoid thermal shock. Collectors who understand the hydrophane nature of the stone often still adore it, but they treat each piece as a delicate balance rather than a stable gem. The history of Ethiopian opal is also relatively young compared to Australian deposits. Discovered in significant quantities only in the early 2000s, its sudden rise in popularity created a wave of excitement, followed by confusion as buyers began noticing their stones changing color after cleaning or wearing in humid conditions. Despite this, Ethiopian opal remains one of the most visually extraordinary gems in the world. Its hydrophane behavior does not make it dangerous in the traditional sense, but it does make it unpredictable, and unpredictability is something experts always watch closely. A gemstone that can shift its identity with something as simple as water is both mesmerizing and a reminder that beauty in the mineral world is often more complex than it appears. Ethiopian opal can change dramatically when exposed to water. Have you ever owned a gemstone that changed color or appearance? Type yes or not yet. Ranked third, AUTUNITE. The glowing mineral that carries the weight of radiation. AUTUNITE is one of the few minerals that genuinely looks radioactive before anyone ever learns what it is. Its vivid yellow-green color glows with an almost supernatural intensity, resembling something lifted straight out of a science fiction laboratory. Under ultraviolet light, it erupts into a neon display, blazing bright, electric, impossible to ignore. But the truth behind AUTUNITE's glow is not fantasy. Its luminescence is rooted in its chemistry. AUTUNITE contains uranium phosphate, a naturally occurring radioactive compound that gives this mineral both its beauty and its warning label. Unlike minerals that are dangerous because they crumble or release dust, AUTUNITE's risk is tied to radiation, specifically low-level emissions that accumulate over time if stored improperly. The radiation is not strong enough to cause immediate harm from brief casual exposure, but prolonged, close contact is something experts avoid. This is why AUTUNITE is always treated differently from ordinary minerals. Collectors store it in sealed containers. Museums keep it behind thick glass with dosimeter monitoring. And professional handlers take care to minimize cumulative exposure by limiting time spent near large specimens. Still, AUTUNITE is not a mineral of fear. It is a mineral of respect. Its structure is fragile, forming thin, paper-like crystalline sheets that resemble glowing leaves. These sheets can break, flake, or shed small pieces if mishandled. While the fragments are not chemically dangerous in the same way as arsenic minerals, they still contain radioactive elements and must be captured, controlled, and stored safely. What makes AUTUNITE particularly fascinating is its origin story. It forms in oxidation zones of uranium deposits where chemistry, water, and geological time combine to create a mineral that carries light in its very structure. Collectors often describe it as geology's warning sign, nature's way of marking territory rich in radioactive materials. AUTUNITE's glow is not artificial. It is not painted, treated, or enhanced. The neon green brilliance is intrinsic, arising from the way uranium interacts with the crystal lattice. Under UV light, the effect is unforgettable. a glowing relic that feels as alive as it is ancient. Despite its cautionary nature, autumnite remains highly sought after by mineral enthusiasts. Its beauty is unparalleled, its scientific value undeniable, and its presence in a collection signals depth of knowledge and respect for mineral safety. Autumnite demonstrates a truth that many people forget. Radiation in nature is real, ancient, and woven into Earth's history long before humanity understood it. A mineral can be both mesmerizing and cautionary, a glowing reminder that the natural world carries wonders that must be appreciated with care. Autumnite glows naturally because of its uranium content. Are you the kind of viewer who would collect glowing minerals? Comment brave or nope. Ranked second, TORBERNITE. The beautiful green crystal that whispers a silent warning. TORBERNITE is one of the most visually captivating minerals ever discovered. A crystal so vibrant, so intensely green, that many collectors compare it to the emerald blocks seen in fantasy worlds and video games. Its surfaces shimmer with a metallic sheen, and its layered, square tabular crystals stack like miniature glowing tiles forged by an artist rather than by nature. But this extraordinary beauty comes with a truth that places TORBERNITE near the very top of the dangerous mineral list. TORBERNITE contains hydrated copper uranyl phosphate, a compound that includes uranium and is capable of releasing radon gas, a radioactive, invisible, odorless gas known for accumulating in enclosed spaces. Radon is not emitted constantly or aggressively, but the potential for release is enough for experts to treat TORBERNITE with the kind of caution reserved for geological materials that demand respect. Unlike many dangerous minerals, TORBERNITE doesn't need to crumble or break to pose a concern. It can slowly dehydrate, shifting between more and less stable forms. As it changes, microscopic particles can loosen, and under certain conditions, trace amounts of radon can be released into poorly ventilated areas. This is why museum curators follow strict rules. Sealed display cases, airflow control, distance from high-traffic areas, and sometimes even dosimeter monitoring when collections contain large specimens. Visually, TORBERNITE is nothing short of mesmerizing. Its green color ranges from neon apple to deep emerald, often with a glass-like translucency that catches light in surreal ways. Collectors treasure pieces from Portugal, Congo, and the classic specimens from Cornwall, England, regions that produce TORBERNITE so vivid that the crystals almost appear to glow from within. Yet for all its beauty, TORBERNITE remains a mineral that seasoned collectors treat with quiet seriousness. It is never placed on open shelves, never stored in sealed boxes without ventilation, and never handled carelessly. Even gentle cleaning can damage its layered structure, and grinding or polishing is strictly forbidden. TORBERNITE symbolizes the very essence of geological contradiction. A mineral that looks alive with color, yet carries the calm, ancient echo of radioactive decay. It is a reminder that nature creates without concern for human expectations, mixing beauty and danger into forms that challenge the boundaries of what a gemstone or mineral should be. And for those who understand its chemistry, TORBERNITE is less a gemstone than a message. Beauty, when untouched by knowledge, can be deceiving. TORBERNITE is stunning, but it can release radon gas under the right conditions. Between TORBERNITE, number 2, and ARSENOPYRITE, number 1, which one do you think sounds more dangerous? Comment 2 or 1. In first place, ARSENOPYRITE, the mineral that turns dangerous the moment it breaks. ARSENOPYRITE is the mineral that earns its place at the very top of this list, not because of how it looks, but because of what it becomes. At first glance, it seems harmless. A metallic, silver-gray crystal that resembles pyrite or even a dull form of silver. Its shimmering surfaces, sharp edges, and geometric structure give it an industrial elegance, the kind often admired by collectors who appreciate minerals with a metallic luster. But ARSENOPYRITE holds a secret far more unsettling than its appearance suggests. This mineral is composed of iron arsenic sulfide, FeASS, a chemical structure stable when intact, but reactive when stressed, heated, or fractured. When ARSENOPYRITE is struck, scratched, or broken, it can release arsine gas, one of the most toxic gases known in mineralogy. Even small amounts pose serious harm. This is not a slow hazard, not a gradual buildup like some radioactive minerals, and not a dust-based threat like arsenic sulfides. This is a mineral whose danger emerges suddenly, the moment its structure is compromised. Collectors refer to it simply as the mineral you never break. Arsenopyrite's deceptive appearance adds to its risk. Because it resembles pyrite or silver ore, inexperienced collectors often pick it up without knowing what they are holding. But unlike pyrite, which is mostly a nuisance when crushed, arsenopyrite transforms instantly under force or heat. Simply holding it is not dangerous. But attempting to grind, polish, cut, or torch it, that is the moment its chemical stability collapses, releasing compounds that should never be inhaled. For this reason, museum curators follow strict handling rules. No cutting, no grinding, no heating, minimal friction, and absolutely no exposure to open flame or high heat sources. Arsenopyrite specimens are stored carefully, often in padded containers and rarely placed on display shelves where they might fall or collide with other minerals. What makes arsenopyrite especially unsettling is the speed at which its risk appears. Other dangerous minerals give visible warning signs. REALGAR breaks down, ORPIMENT crumbles, TORBERNITE dehydrates, AUTUNITE glows with a radioactive hint. But arsenopyrite looks calm, stable, metallic, until the moment it is not. It is a mineral that demands respect not because of appearance, but because of chemistry. Not because it frightens, but because it deceives. Not because it changes over time, but because it reacts in an instant. This is why experts across the mineral world consider arsenopyrite the ultimate example of geological contradiction. A quiet, unassuming crystal with a hidden potential for harm far greater than any gemstone on this list. A mineral that teaches one of the most important lessons in gemology. Danger is not always visible. Sometimes it is chemical, waiting for the wrong moment. Now that you've reached number 1, which mineral on this list shocked you the most? Just comment the number 1 to 10. These gemstones prove one thing. Beauty in nature often comes with a warning. Some crumble into toxic dust, some glow with radiation, some change the moment they're touched, and others turn dangerous the instant they break. Which stone shocked you the most today? Comment the number. More episodes exploring hidden risks, rare minerals, and the science behind the stones are already on the way. Stay curious and stay safe.